On this episode of Gameball NFL Endzone, we're going to recap what was Week 14 of the NFL season. And in our second segment, Carolina fired its head coach Ron Rivera after posting a record of 79, 67, and 1. Was this a mistake by the Carolina Panthers by letting him go? Also, who could potentially pick him up to be their next head coach? And also in our third segment, we will bring you our famous forecast heading into Week 15 of the NFL season. Stick around. Gameball NFL Endzone begins now. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to Gameball NFL Endzone, where the football season never ends. I'm Marcus Young, Genius Jenkins.
It's your boy, Michael Riley.
And shout out to our brother Luke Hardenet, who could not be here with us, but we will hold him down, as always, like we all do. We're going to kick things off with recapping Week 14's forecast, starting with the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. Baltimore was kind of running away with this early. The Bills came back in the second half and made it a little bit interesting. 24-17 would be the win as the Baltimore Ravens rolled on in that matchup. The San Francisco 49ers and the New Orleans Saints. What a game. And the Saints had a chance, but the 49ers found a way to get it done at the end of the game, 48-46. We're going to talk about that one a little bit further here in just a second. The Kansas City Chiefs. In a big win in Foxborough over the New England Patriots by a score of 23-16. We'll also talk about that one a little bit further as well. The Los Angeles Rams, I kind of think this is a surprising win. They held the Seattle Seahawks to 12 points. 28-12 would be that score in that matchup. But Mike, we're going to back it up and talk about, we just discussed this off camera, possibly the game of the year, and that is the 49ers and the Saints. 48-46. This matchup did not disappoint at all. How was San Francisco ultimately able to come out of this one in New Orleans?
Man, it was just back and forth. It wasn't even defense. It was just offense. It was just like a heavyweight fight. It was just trading blows after blows after blows. But the 49ers was able to do enough offensively to get the job done, and Jimmy Garoppolo and the crew, and that tight end Kettle, he is a monster. He would not be denied for anything, and the running game's going well. You got to give it up to Kyle Shanahan for putting together a good plan to get the road win. You see why they're 11-2. Sitting at the first seat in the NFC playoffs. And he's, my opinion, a coaching candidate for Coach of the Year. It took him about a couple years to turn it around. In year 3, he's taken off. And he's due for a contract extension soon, well deserved. And, but the defense was able to do just a little bit enough to get the job done, and New Orleans Saints had their chances, but too many mental errors, too many mental mistakes, and it cost them the game, and it cost them potentially the number 1 overall seed.
Great win by the 49ers. And a fun fact, both Garoppolo and Drew Brees both threw for 349 yards apiece. So, I mean, that ball was slinging everywhere across that field. But once again, a great game between these two, no question about it. Moving on, we're going to talk about the Chiefs and the Patriots. It's more than just the Chiefs beating the Patriots and just being humble, and not just because, of course, I support the Chiefs, but they clinched the AFC West for the 4th consecutive year in a row, which is a big deal for them. But more importantly, what I got from this win is not a celebration that the Chiefs won against the Patriots in Foxborough. What I get out of this more importantly is there's a lot of struggles on the offense of the Patriots. And me, I respect the Patriots franchise, but I will say this isn't offensively the best. This isn't the Patriots team of last season, and this isn't the best offense that I've seen from the Patriots. You can tell where, for example, guys like Rob Gronkowski, you can kind of see where he's missing, where they have that guy. No disrespect to Edelman, but they don't have that guy that late in games that they can make home run plays. They don't have that. Mike, I want to ask you, even though this is just their third loss of the season, but what are some things that stuck out to you in this loss by the Patriots?
Well, there's still some offensive issues, but I think they'll be able to figure it out. But even the loss, they still find ways to score. And second half, they held the Kansas City Chiefs offense to 3 points, just a field goal. Their defense.
They did.
But offensively, they got to do a better job, and they know that going forward. And that interception killed them offensively. And offensive line's been kind of a problem. David Andrews goes down to a blood clot in the season. And it's just the receivers can't get no separation and all that. But I feel like they'll get more time to get it going. And but even though despite the loss, you did see some positives going.
Certainly.
And N'Keal Harry, the rookie receiver, started coming to his own and all that. And the Chiefs defense did what they did and get the win and all that. But I'm going to make this clear. It was a bad officiating for both sides of the ball. And there was 2 potential touchdown calls that were called back. The one that Scoop scored for the fumble that Travis Kelce said was down by contact. Clearly it wasn't. I mean, Tyreek Hill was there. The ball could have been placed at the 1 yard line. Then you had a potential touchdown that should have been a touchdown, but Belichick had ran out of challenges, and that every scoring play is supposed to be reviewed, but it didn't get reviewed, so there was no touchdown there. I felt like if one of those two, I feel like both was a touchdown, this could have been a 6-point game for the Patriots and they could have won, but nothing less. You have to move on and give Kansas City Chiefs credit where credit is due. Defensively, they stepped up and was able to make plays, but I feel like if the Patriots will use more of their mismatchups, get them more tight end involved with Lacoste and Ben Watson, and give more of that rookie receiver involved since he's like 6'2", 6'3". I felt like if he was against Breland instead of Edelman, that could have been a touchdown and a kick extra point to tie the game. So it's just that sometimes you got to flip-flop players to find matchups. And a lot of teams that start playing man against the Patriots, they're not scared playing man. But I feel like if you put Edelman outside more, you see once they stuck him outside, there was one-on-one matchups that be created. I feel like if you use more of N'Keal Harry, the rookie receiver, and get him going more, you feel like, okay, he's got some going. And I feel like it's going to get better and better. But like Bill Belichick said, we're on to Cincinnati.
And the bright spot for the New England Patriots is, but this team, they have, like, their schedule is a win-out schedule. They don't have any matchups that really stick out like, oh, this is a great challenge for them. This, if anything, this is an opportunity for them to kind of tighten up things they need to tighten up on. There's nothing that's, as far as them going to the postseason, this is almost like this is the perfect time for them to kind of finish out the schedule on a winning note and kind of get some momentum and some confidence going to the season. For Kansas City, 3 wins in a row, where your defense is who impacted the game as much. Because if you're just depending on Patrick Mahomes to beat you with his arm and expect Tyreek Hill in that offense, this is the first time. I know it's only 3 games, but they're finally clicking on all cylinders. And we can talk about plays. We can go back to the AFC Championship game in which the Patriots got away with murder 1,000 times over. And it's not to like talk smack and go back and forth between the Chiefs and the Patriots, but you just see a Kansas City Chiefs team that we have been waiting on, and to where it's on both sides of the football, there's talent there, and they're finding ways to get it done. A positive note also, Patrick Mahomes, you can tell him hurting his throwing arm made a difference, and that was also part of the reason why they only scored 3 points.
I was going to bring that up, his hand, and his throwing hand.
Thank goodness it's negative.
Yeah, but going down to the road, how's it going to affect him? Is this going to be swelling? Because he's been banged up. Ankles, knees. Now you got the hand. Teams is going to start to go after it, and you start to see teams not scared of bringing the house against Patrick Mahomes, and he has been taking some hits. And so that's something that the Chiefs need to adjust and look at going forward, because the Chiefs got a brutal schedule. They got the Broncos, they at home, who obliterate the Texans.
Boy, yes, they did.
And they got the Chicago Bears in Soldier Field, a tough one. Then they got the Chargers, so they're going to keep coming after Patrick Mahomes.
But the thing is, if I'm Andy Reid, do you really play him out the rest of the schedule if you already clinched your division?
No.
I would sit him out. I wouldn't even necessarily worry about the Broncos because they're in the playoffs.
But
they're
you
good.
can tell that they want to get that 2 seed if New England loses, and I can understand that. But you clinched the playoff spot. You clinched the AFC West. I wouldn't take no chance. Keep Patrick Mahomes as healthy as you can. Give Matt Moore his experience in that offense, and just let him play out. Because Patrick Mahomes, he's taking a real beating. I'll be like, you're done. Rest, heal up, and be good for the playoffs.
I mean, and the thing is, for me, even with their defense rolling, to be 100% honest, do you even get a lot of their starters a little bit of quality rest? I mean, yeah, their schedule is brutal, and I agree with that. What is actually the point of I mean, you want to get some confidence and some momentum. At least I hope they consider sitting out Patrick Mahomes.
No, just Patrick Mahomes. Nobody else.
All right, and that's going to do it for our first segment. And I want to point this out. Patriots fan, Chiefs fan. Do you see how we debated that with class? Do you see the professionalism with it? We could have went in on both teams or whatnot. I just want to throw that out there. But that's going to do it for this first segment. Coming up, we'll talk about the firing of Ron Rivera by the Carolina Panthers. Was this a mistake by Carolina? And also, who could potentially pick him up as their next head coach? We'll talk about that coming back. Gameball calls Endzone. We'll be back in a moment. What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to Gameball NFL Endzone. Now, Mike, we got to talk about Ron Rivera. I'm not going to lie, I was kind of surprised about this a little bit. But being fired by the Carolina Panthers, his record with them is 79, 67, and 1. Did they make a mistake by firing Ron Rivera?
I think they did. He didn't have a bad record. I think he just had a hard time getting wins, especially in the NFC South, one of the toughest divisions, and it didn't help to where you have banged up quarterback in Cam Newton, and they did go to the Super Bowl that year. They went 15-1 and lost, but I felt like it wasn't the right time to fire him. and I felt like it was too soon. And the new owner wants his guy to come in there, and I felt like it was just kind of like they could have finished out the season, and I felt like it was a spit in his face. It was disrespect in a way, and I just feel like he deserved better than that. And some people could say that his time was coming, and this and that. I get it, but at least let the man finish out the season as the Carolina Panthers head coach. And what teams could possibly pick him up? There's a lot of teams that need head coaches. Of course, the Dallas Cowboys, but we all know with Jerry Jones, I ain't gonna get into that. Atlanta Falcons potentially with Dan Quinn. You also have Washington Redskins potentially, who could be the head coach, and so there's gonna be house cleaning this all season with coaches. They're gonna be coming and going. It's just which one is the right fit for Ron Rivera. He wants to continue coaching as he was iterated when he lost his job as the Carolina Panthers head coach. So there's a lot of head coaches that could potentially, teams that could potentially use a head coach like him. And if I had to say, it would be more likely Atlanta, could be Washington.
I like Atlanta.
And also Pat Sherman, the New York Giants, he's about to be booted too. And Dallas Cowboys, don't expect it. That's all I got to say about that.
Another team I want to throw at you. What do you think about this one? What about Jacksonville and him being under Nick Foles?
That could potentially be a good one, but Nick Foles got bench over Connor Minshew, and but I think if Dan Quinn gets fired, I see the Carolina Panthers going after him.
All right,
not Carolina Panthers. Excuse me. Atlanta Falcons.
Like I said, Mike, I'm not gonna lie. This kind of threw me for a surprise because
it threw me off too.
Once again, Jason Garrett still a coach. Still has the Dallas Cowboys, but
I think the Dallas Cowboys should be arrested and in jail for not firing Jason Garrett.
Or let go of Jason Garrett, bring in Ron Rivera. I'm just saying that. I'm just saying if they wanted to do that. But I just feel like leading this team to the Super Bowl, all the injuries and all the obstacles, there's only so much a coach can really do. And I feel like with everything going down, unfortunately, we see this in multiple sports, whether it's basketball, whether it's wherever, somebody has to be to blame. And of course, the head coach is the first person to come to mind. I think he's a great football coach, and he showed that. You can't blame the fact that he's been without Cam Newton this season. He's been dealing with constant injuries over and over. He can only do so much, but I like him in Atlanta as well, if that's a possibility. Also, I could see him potentially, if Shermer is out of there, I could see either Atlanta or New York being his destination.
I like one of those two teams as the top two candidates. Washington Redskins. The owner's just kind of like Jerry Jones and Al Davis, God rest his soul in a way. So I see those two potential top teams, Atlanta Falcons and New York Giants. It wouldn't surprise me if the Atlanta Falcons picked them up if Dan Quinn is let go.
All right, that's going to do it for this second segment. Coming after break, we are going to talk about the forecast heading into Week 15. Stick around. We got a couple of matchups to talk about, as well as give you our predictions. You do not want to miss that. Stick around. Gameball Info Endzone will return in a moment. What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to Gameball NFL Endzone. It is time to bring you our famous forecast heading into Week 15, starting with the Houston Texans. We know that game, they got obliterated by the Denver Broncos over the weekend, looking to redeem themselves against, all of a sudden, red-hot Tennessee Titans team. Mike, how would you break down this matchup?
This is for the AFC South Division. If Tennessee Titans win, they sit pretty at the number 3 seed because they have the edge over Kansas City in that overtime win. This is everything's on the line for the Houston Texans. You beat the Patriots, then you wet the bed, stick up a joint against the Denver Broncos. I don't understand how you beat a great team, then stick it up against a sorry team. I mean, it must be that hangover win against the Patriots, which I ain't gonna lie, that happens to most teams that get the win against the Patriots and all of a sudden they lay an egg. So, the Tennessee Titans, they just been on a roll. Ever since they made that quarterback switch from Marcus Mariota to Tannehill, they took off. And now they're sitting pretty at potential being a AFC South Division champion. So this is everything. Because if the Houston Texans lose, they're on the bubble on the outside looking in. And you got Pittsburgh and Buffalo sitting at the 5 seed and the 6 seed. We'll talk about that later. So offensively, the Texans are going to have to step up, and so is defensively, because they looked terrible against the Broncos.
Yes, they did.
At home. May I remind you, and the Tennessee Titans, if they can do what they do, and plus that man-beast Mark Henry running the ball, it'd be a wrap for the Texans, and they could potentially kiss the AFC South goodbye.
All right, can the Houston Texans, can they find a way to redeem themselves on time? We'll talk about that here in a second. Moving forward, the Denver Broncos taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Both of these teams coming off of big wins. Obviously, Kansas City over New England. Denver, we just talked about the Houston Texans. Mike, how would you break down this matchup?
Well, Denver, ever since that other quarterback went down, Drew Lock, he's proven that he could be the future of this team. And the hell ain't got him for a second-round pick. Is that a steal or what?
All right.
So, and plus the tight end Noah Fant is starting to come to his own. So that's a good thing. And if they can do that on the road, it wouldn't surprise me at all. But for Kansas City, they can't overlook anything. But as we were alluding to on the first segment, rest Patrick Mahomes. He's been beat up all season long. You wanted to save him throughout the playoffs and not risk any more injuries or a potential season-ending injury. Right. I'm not jinxing it.
Right.
Knock on wood.
Right.
I'm not jinxing it. It could happen. So, you want to give Patrick Mahomes a rest. He's been beat up all season. And just let Matt Moore take over. And once the playoffs hit, then you put in Patrick Mahomes. So just keep doing what you're doing and do not look over the Denver Broncos. And I would not take them lightly at all.
I strongly agree with that. They proved that point against the Texans, indeed. Like you said, hopefully they do decide to rest Patrick Mahomes. We'll find out, though, as the week progresses. We're going to move forward to the Los Angeles Rams with a big win, a stunning win at that, over the Seattle Seahawks. Obviously, 28-12 was that score. Awaiting them, America's favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys. Mike, how would you break down this matchup?
Well, the Rams needed that win because they're still on the outside looking in, getting to the NFC wild card playoff. Because you got a couple teams in front of them. It is going to be tough to get in. But they beat the Seahawks. And I think they play them again. I'm not for sure. If they do play them again, they could potentially knock them off. So now you looking at them being in. Last night they ran the ball effectively against the Seahawks. Not last time, but the other night. And Jared Goff was consistent in the pass game. Cup was sensational in the slot receiver. So if they continue to do what they do and the defense continue to dominate, they could possibly be in the playoff hunt. But the Dallas Cowboys, the NFC East division is a terrible division. You could possibly go 8-8, 7-9, still win. So for the Dallas Cowboys, they have to look at themselves in the mirror and just get it together or lose the division.
All right. Los Angeles Rams and the Dallas Cowboys. That's going to take us to the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Buffalo Bills, coming off of a tough loss, made it interesting against the Ravens in the second half. Unfortunately, they fell short 17-24. Awaiting them is the Pittsburgh Steelers, who also won over the weekend. Mike, how do you like this matchup?
Well, this is 5 versus 6 seed. And who's going to jump above? Because Pittsburgh, if they can get into the playoffs, especially in the AFC, they could be dangerous. Because they was 1-4, something like that. Then Mike Tomlin just cleansed or changed whatever he did to that team, and they've been rolling. They are the last. They are the 6th seed in the wild card playoff, and that defense, ever since trading for Mika Fitzpatrick for a first-round pick for the Dolphins, they've been rolling. Their defense has been playing good offensively. They've been doing enough just to get the win. So do not underestimate Pittsburgh Steelers because they are playing some good ball. And Mike Tomlin has something to do with it. He's a potential Coach of the Year candidate. And Buffalo Bills, you got to find a way to get it going offensively. Your defense is top notch, but offensively it's been anemic like the Patriots. So you just got to find a way to score points and dominate.
All right, Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's going to take us to the predictions part of the episode, starting with the Houston Texans and Tennessee Titans. Who do you and Luke have?
I like the Tennessee Titans to win, and Luke has the Titans as well. I just don't trust the Texans enough.
The time is 8:45.
And the way the Tennessee Titans is playing football, it's going to be a challenge for the Texans to stop them. So I'll see the Tennessee Titans win, score of 27-20, and take the AFC South Division lead.
I agree. I like Tennessee for this fact of you don't know what Houston Texans team is going to be on the floor. And that's kind of been their season. They've been up and down. I mean, they showed a lot of promise. They played great against the Chiefs earlier in the part of the year. A big win against the Patriots. Last weekend, not so much. I'm just not for sure if they will have enough. The Titans are rolling right now. Give me a score. I'll say 28. I'll say 28-21. I like the Titans in that matchup. Broncos and Kansas City Chiefs, pending who's available at quarterback, would be a safe thing to say, but who would you like in that matchup?
I got Kansas City Chiefs winning at home. That offensive firepower is too much for Denver Broncos. But I feel like Denver can hang in there. But at the end of the day, the Chiefs are at home, so I like the Chiefs to win. 31-17. Luke picked the Chiefs as well.
I can't say as well if they play Patrick Mahomes or not. They do have enough weapons, plus the defense is rolling right now. I think they'll get it going early. I think they'll do enough on offense to get off to a fresh start. Second half, I think the defense, like they've done the last 3 weeks in a row, will do what they've been doing. Give me a score. I'll say 24-17, Kansas City Chiefs or the Broncos. Cowboys and Rams, who do you guys have?
The Rams. Pretty simple, and I just don't see the Cowboys doing enough. And plus, you got a block one of the best defensive line, Aaron Donald, who's going to come at you. I don't see the Cowboys doing enough offensively, defensively, so I'm going to say the Rams win the score of 31-20.
I almost want to go on a limb and say Dallas because they do have something to lose, but at this point, what is the worst that can happen? But at the same time, it is December. Give me the Rams. I will say a score of 27-14. I like them over Dallas. Last matchup, the battle of two good defenses, Buffalo and Pittsburgh. What do you guys have?
I got Pittsburgh win because they're on a hot streak, and I just don't trust Buffalo enough. And their defense is elite, both teams are, but Pittsburgh has a little bit better offense than the Bills, and I feel like they capitalize more on points. So I like the Steelers to win. I'll say 24-17, a close one.
I agree with that as well. Buffalo just really doesn't have an offense. They really don't have one. Great defense, like we just talked about. Pittsburgh, 21-17. Give me the Steelers over the Buffalo Bills. And that's going to do it for this episode. Social media, Facebook, Marcus Jovel ENT Jenkins. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at Jovel ENT. That's Jovel_entertainment.
Social media, Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, Instagram, YouTube, all on my right side. You'll be your left side, so follow all social media platforms. And get your fly gear on our clothing line website, fitness, hat, towels, all the above at gameballshop.equid.com. That's gameballshop.equid.com. And don't forget to check out our official website online page at gck.gnffe.com. Excuse me, that's gck-gnfle.com. And you can't forget our other brother Luke, who couldn't be here. Facebook, Instagram as Luke Harnett, and on Twitter as Luke Harnett too, because he's the real Luke Harnett, folks.
I'm Marcus Jenkins.
It's your boy, Michael Riley.
And thank you for staying in tune to this episode of Gameball Info Endzone. And we'll see you next week.
Peace and love.